much information presented that I do like to see how things have shifted from what was the opening game Friday night against the Philadelphia Eagles to panic, to no sleep for Packer fans, to holy cow, this could be way quicker than any of us could have ever imagined. And with that, he tweets on Twitter X, despite what was projected to be a 3 to 4 week absence due to his knee injury, there is a chance that Packers quarterback Jordan Love can make it back in time to start Sunday against the Titans. Quote, I wouldn't be surprised if he plays this week, one source said. It's definitely day-to-day, like he said, and 50-50 at best right now. The larger point being that even if Love cannot make it back Sunday, he'll have a realistic chance to return next week at home versus the Vikings, which would mark a 2-game absence.
I mean, hearing that, I would not believe those words a week and a half ago after that Friday night game. Saturday morning after the game, I mean, his recovery going from seemingly cataclysmic to now shrinking down to potentially one game is unbelievable. Regardless of if Jordan Love or Malik Willis plays on Sunday, I am resting my head on the pillow at night and I'm sleeping like a baby because this says to me that everything that the Green Bay Packers want is still right in front of them. I'm not going to lie, Ben. Even before the season started, I looked at the first couple of weeks and said, I think the Packers are going to lose to the Eagles. I think they're going to beat the Colts. What do you know? Throughout all this drama, they're still in that same position of 1-1 going into a Tennessee Titans team that's 0-2, and you don't know who your QB is going to be, but you still like your chances either way. So the fact that they have been able to get to the point where even if Jordan Love doesn't play on Sunday, 50-50, I still am shocked at that and amazed by it, knowing that he's going to come back either way Sunday against Minnesota in a week and a half or so. That brings me a lot of peace, and that's a really important game, obviously, because they're the kings of the division right now.
Well, I think that's the biggest thing you always got to continue to remember when it comes to the NFL. When you play the, holy cow, the schedule's out, and you start trying to pick out the wins, pick out the losses, pick out what the record's going to be, you may end up getting around the same prediction, right? If you had 9 wins or 10 wins, you still might end up doing that, but it never works out the way that you think. It's never chalk. It's the NFL, right? Even when you think about this weekend against the Tennessee Titans, everyone will look at the Tennessee Titans and say, this team's no good. If Jordan Love plays, this should be a win on the record. But again, I can't sit here confidently and say that based off the fact that there are statistics that would show you that this isn't the Indianapolis Colts, because it's a team that is second in yards allowed in the NFL as a defense. Part of that has to do with the fact that they did play the Chicago Bears, and they can't quite move the ball with their offensive line. Part of that has to do with the fact that the Jets, I believe, are still finding their way offensively with a hobbled Aaron Rodgers coming off of injury. But there's so many variables that go into place. But I will say, even though I just said you can't pick out the wins, I'm not picking this out as a win. I'm picking this out as a huge opportunity because of the fact that, like, if you are able to go 2-1 after what felt like, as you said, a cataclysmic injury to Jordan Love, I'll keep saying this is Giannis 2.0. Giannis in the Eastern Conference Finals hyperextended his knee, and maybe because he's so long and lengthy, his hyperextension looked worse than any other hyperextension I've ever seen. Jordan Love's knee shifted. And I talked to some people that are in the medical field. They're like, yes, it looked bad, but that is a yes, you can cool me on that. That is a shift of the knee, but to the public, it looked like something popped. It looked like it was like something horrible. If the Packers can find a way to get a win, Malik Willis or Jordan Love, knowing that what I just said, that it looks pretty good to come back and play at home against the Vikings, against a divisional opponent, all your worries and all the bets that Brad Nortman and Kyle Wallace and all of everyone, even betting aside, believed in their predictions of the Packers going to playoffs, those are right there, right in front of you.
Well, and that's what's been strange to me, is because there seems to have been this collective step backward as far as who the Packers are, what their expectations are for the year. We even had this conversation earlier in the week when the power rankings come out, and Mark Tauscher was up in arms about, oh my gosh, the Packers fell after a win and after the display they put on against the Indianapolis Colts. And so I look at this and say, man, this is one of those situations where maybe it took something like this to remember how lucky you are to have a quarterback like Jordan Love, and to remember that everything is still in front of you. My expectations have not changed for this team. And either way, I'm curious to see what Matt LaFleur does on Sunday, because either way, he's going to have Malik Willis, who is limited in his own way, running the offense.
Let me take a timeout. I want the former NFL player who's been in locker rooms, who's been in situations where Derek Anderson stepped in for Cam Newton when you were with the Carolina Panthers. You have two scenarios. What does the game plan look like with Malik Willis, and what does the game plan look like with a Jordan Love who could be cleared but still not be 100%? How do you go about the game against the Titans?
Well, this is what's fascinating, right? Because if you have Malik Willis, you're using a game plan that is run heavy, probably run heavy either way. But when you do pass, you're probably going to want to use his mobility, right? But if you have Jordan Love in there, you're going to prevent him from being mobile. So you're probably using two different leans of the playbook. I'm guessing, and this is why Matt LaFleur is so smart to use the word limited. He's not going into detail about what they're doing, what they're not doing, how many reps.
Wait, did you hear the latest from Matt LaFleur?
More limited?
Per Rob Domofsky on Twitter, no surprise, but Packers coach Matt LaFleur would say about Jordan, all he would say, I think he missed a word there, about Jordan Love is he was limited. He wouldn't commit to Love for sure practicing tomorrow, but he said if he did, he would be
limited.
Very, very, very good Brad Nortman.
Because if he was going to go into detail, it would be revealing about the Packers' game plan. Are they splitting reps? Is he watching? Limited could mean he's doing individual drills and nothing else. No team reps. Limited could also mean he's getting 75% of the team reps and Malik Willis is getting 25. There's so much gray area behind limited. Matt LaFleur has shown that he can scheme any quarterback, any defense, any variety of playmakers that he has, and with the cherry on top of last week's game. So I'm guessing he has two contingencies in. Remember, who was out last year? Was it Aaron Jones? Remember there was a game plan where someone he thought was going to play, and then we got to like game time and they were out Saturday and he'd like change his entire playbook. Who was that? I'm blanking on the name.
I'm going to need your help here on this one because there was a lot of injuries, whether it be Christian Watson and Dontavian Wick steps up, or Bo Melton or Malik Heath.
Strofe, is that ringing a bell?
I'm sorry. Are you looking for the game?
Who was the player that was out that Matt LaFleur thought all week was going to play, but then on Saturday heard not playing and he had to change the game plan?
Bakhtiari?
Either way. Either way.
The point being,
I'm not sure if it was Aaron Jones, whatever, and the current the injuries of all the perimeter players
last year, but I don't know if that's what you're referencing.
Okay, there was a game where there was a marquee player he built a game plan around playing, and then they didn't play, and he had to rearrange the game plan. I remember he was not happy about it. Long story short, he's familiar with this. He's familiar with guys being available. Maybe it's a last-minute call, having contingencies in the game plan. He's probably working with two different game plans. He's got the Malik Willis one on his left. He's got the Jordan Love on his right. And he's able to say, you know what? This is what we're going to work with. We need to have comfort with both of them.
How hard is it for the rest of the team?
Very hard. I mean, they know the plays, but most guys like to know, even as easy as this one, Ben, the first 20 plays are scripted. They're scripted. You probably have two different scripts. And the guys find comfort in knowing what the scripts are going to be. They find comfort in knowing what the plays that are going to be run. But you certainly have one set of script for Malik Willis, another set of script for Jordan Love. So
did you know what those scripts were as a punter? Were you in meetings where the whole team got to see what the script was?
I never attended those deeply game plan meetings, but they would always run it on the Friday and Saturday beforehand. For sure, the Saturday, the walkthrough, you run through the scripted plays. So we're sitting back, we're watching, as we most of the time do.
You ever say, oh, this sucks, it ain't going to work?
Most of the time, it's like, ooh, I like that. Give the ball to, Jay Stu, and then you throw it down to Greg Olson. I like what we're doing here, OC. I like it. I
ever
also
let them know?
Nah, kept it to myself. But it's a challenge in the same way everybody needed to take a collective step forward. We need to do 10% more to help out Malik Willis. It's no different this week. It just looks a lot different. Everybody needs to be a bit more flexible, be a bit more prepared for the unprepared, because how about this scenario? What if they throw Jordan Love in there? What if he doesn't even get re-injured, but there's just a sense of he's not ready? We got to put Malik Willis back in there. There's so many contingencies that Matt LaFleur and this offense and all the teammates around need to be prepared for. And I know we're going to have Brian Balaga on later in the show at 4:45. I can't wait to ask him the same question, because he's going to have a completely different mindset being an offensive lineman. I mean,
somebody who actually walked through offensive plays.
Well, yeah, but I was there. I was within like reaching distance of watching them go through plays. So it's a challenge for Matt LaFleur. But if there's anyone that shows that he can do it, and if he wants to prove that he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, as I crowned him earlier in the week, this is another opportunity for him to do so, where Malik Willis, Jordan Love, 2 very different quarterbacks with seemingly a coin flip in who is going to play on Sunday.
Maybe we do this, Strofe, on Twitter at KBN ESPN. Simply put, right, if Jordan Love doesn't play, do the Packers win against the Titans with Malik Willis?
Do the Packers win with Malik Willis?
Don't like your hesitation.
They can.
No, I don't like cans. We are doing a radio show. I know I gave you a chance to talk about scripted plays and put your Switzerland hat on. I need an answer.
I'm going to go with they do not win.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to go with they do not
win. If Malik Willis plays, Brad Nortman says that this team will not win against the Tennessee Titans.
I think they win with
I think we can change the poll, Strofe.
A lot happened there.
Yes, I think we can change the poll.
Brad, don't suck at your job for a minute. And then Brad said, hey, Packers fans, eat this turd.
And now we get to put it on Twitter, KBN ESPN. Brad Nortman says if Malik Willis plays and Jordan Love doesn't, he does not believe that they win. Do you agree or disagree?